Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're gonna be doing a video I haven't done in quite some time, but I have a lot of new makeup, so I thought I would film a trying new makeup. These aren't first impressions because a lot of this I have tried, but it's just new stuff that I haven't really mentioned yet, or I just wanted to show you guys on camera. So yeah, make sure to subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and if you want to see my thoughts on some of these new makeup releases, then just keep on watching. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna put on is the Summer Fridays Shade Drops Broad Spectrum SPF 30. This is the sunscreen that they came out with like a couple months ago. I got this in my last Sephora haul, and I do really like it. I feel like for every day it's a good sunscreen, but I need more SPF than just 30, so this is what I use underneath makeup specifically. I have a different sunscreen. It's the Elta MD SPF 46, and that one I like for every day because it sinks into the skin really well. It doesn't break me out, make me oily, anything like that. And it has a higher SPF, so I like that for every day. But underneath makeup, I've actually been really liking this. I don't feel like it pills. I don't feel like it makes me super greasy and oily. So my sunscreens tend to be very greasy and very illuminating, and that is just not for me. So I have been really enjoying this. If you have oily skin, I think you'd really like this. With every sunscreen, I always let them sink in. So normally I'll do it before I do my makeup, like before I even get started, like right after skincare. But today I thought I would mention this to you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and do brows, and I'm just gonna do them off camera real fast. I don't have anything new. I'm just gonna be using the ELF brow lift, and I might fill them in just a little bit. I haven't been filling my brows in a lot lately. I've mostly just been doing like the brow lift, the brow freeze, the Makeup by Mario brow gel, and then just using a tinted brow gel. But since I'm actually filming today, I think I'll actually fill them in a little bit. So I'm just gonna do that off camera and I'll be right back. So I went ahead, filled in my eyebrows. I actually need to set my eyelids, and then I primed my lids with just some concealer, and now I'm just gonna set them real fast with some powder. I have I wouldn't say I have super oily eyelids. I just feel like if I want my eyeshadow to last, I feel like this works really well for me. So for eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using the new NATASHA DENONA My Dream palette. So this is one of her midi palettes. I feel like I'm like far away. This is one of her midi palettes. So this is $69. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did her palettes, these like midi sized ones, didn't they used to be $65? Did she up the price to $69? Because I really thought this was $65, and I went and seen that all of them are now $69. So, but this is what the palette looks like. I used 3 of the mattes in this, and then I did swatch them for a Instagram reel and a TikTok. So I can, maybe I'll put it in the video actually, or do I want you to go watch it? We'll see. Anywho, so this is what it looks like. It's kind of different than what I thought it was going to be. It definitely leans a little bit more pinky warm, which I didn't expect from her. And then you do have one trio, is it Triochrome or Duochrome? It's like a pink that leans kind of greenish, and then in some lights I've actually noticed it leans kind of gold. So yeah. But this is what it looks like. I will put in comparisons of this one in the Glam palette and the Retro palette. I do not think it's close to the Glam palette at all. I think the Glam palette is way more cool than this. And then the Retro palette, even though it is kind of that mauve pinky undertone, again, this one is just very warm, and I feel like that one leans a lot more cool. So I don't feel like it's comparable to those. There actually is another duochrome. It's like a gold that leans kind of pink. So is this one a duochrome? Yeah, and then there's a couple duochromes in here, but yeah, I really kind of want to use this shade today because I just really like it. But I haven't done like a super creative eyeshadow in a while. especially on camera. I love NATASHA DENONA's formula, so this was kind of a no-brainer. I feel like if you want to splurge on a palette, NATASHA DENONA is the way to go. I really have enjoyed her palettes. Obviously, they're not necessary, but if you have the money and you want to splurge, you could get this during the Sephora sale. It's either the last week of October or the first week of November. I can't really remember, but yeah. So I think I'm going to do one eye off camera and then come back. Or no, let's just go ahead and do it together. Okay, so I think I'm gonna first go in with the Unity shade. It's just like a light peachy shade. I just want something to kind of warm up everything, like just something to start the eyeshadow, transition it. So I feel like you'll be able to see this side better. So I'm just taking this on a M501, which is a big fluffy brush. This shade actually has a little bit more pigment than I thought. So I'm just taking this into the crease, a little bit above the crease. I'm just kind of washing it all over. I might go ahead and do this eye while we're here. I'm gonna take the Morphe M441, and I'm going to take a mixture of Nurture and Carpe Diem. So Nurture is just a little bit more cooler, and then Carpe Diem has a little bit more warmth to it. But I'm just going to take it on a little bit smaller of a brush just to keep it a little bit tighter in the crease, but still a big enough blending brush to really buff it out. So taking it a little bit above the crease. These are kind of pigmented, a little bit more pigmented than I'm expecting. I don't know really where I'm going with this look. Every time I do eyeshadow, I kind of just like start something and see what happens. So, yeah. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and start deepening this look up. So, I'm not gonna be someone who tries to use every eyeshadow in the palette. But I think I'm gonna, I don't know if I wanna, I know like with a color that is like this Vision shade where it's kind of like pinky chrome, pinky green duochrome, I know it's gonna like pop the best on a black, but I don't know if I wanna use a black. So I think I'm gonna use the purple. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna start off with Edgy. I'm gonna take this brush. This is from Luna Magic. I got this in a BoxyCharm. This is one of her cream to matte formulas, so it might not pick up that great on this brush, but I'm gonna take that shade Edgy and I'm gonna start putting this, like packing this onto the lid and the kind of like the outer lid for now. So this is not as dark as it looks in the pan. Like in the pan it looks extremely dark, like almost like a black purple. Like it leans very, very dark, but I feel like once you start putting it on the eye, it's not as dark as it looks. It's actually a lot more like a pinky, like fuchsia purple. So I'm just placing this on the lid, just start deepening it up. And I think I'm actually gonna take a smaller brush. I'm gonna take this M433 and I'm gonna take the shade Instinct. So this is kind of like a cranberry shade. When I swatched it, it showed up pretty pink. So I'm gonna start taking this on the edges of the shadow just to start blending it out. Okay, so those are blending together like very nicely. I'm gonna pack the purple on just a little bit more, and I actually might mix a little bit of the black, like just this touch, because that is gonna start deepening this up a lot more. Okay, so I'm gonna take the Instinct shade again and just blend. Actually, I'm gonna take Instinct and Edgy just a little bit mixed together. Just start blending this out. This could turn out terribly. I honestly don't know. I don't really know what the game plan is here. I do know I'm going to probably put that Vision shimmer on top of this. So it doesn't have to be perfect blend, because that is going to kind of help to blend that. And it's kind of mask the black a little bit. I just wanted to use deeper colors to enhance that shade before I put it down. And I also want to use another shimmer. Like, I kind of want to use a couple of the shimmers, so that's why I'm gonna put the Vision shade there. I'd probably use it all over the lid, honestly, but just for purposes of using as many, I'm gonna use as many as I can while still keeping it cohesive. So as we got that pretty blended out, like almost fully, I'm going to take the Vision shade and I'm going to use my finger. I feel like most shimmers are best with your finger. So this is a trio chrome shade, I'm pretty sure. So it has a pink, let's see. It has like gold, pink, green. It just depends on how the light's hitting it is how it's going to show up. So I'm going to put that right over the black that we just put down. So I'm just gonna pack this baby on. This is the color I was like, I think this is the color that most people were intrigued with the most out of this palette. I have seen people comparing this shade to the Pat McGrath, one of her mothership, no, one of her, I'm not good, so I'm not good with the Pat McGrath palettes because I don't own any, so I don't remember, but this shade was very similar to one of the Pat McGraths. Morgan Turner actually mentioned it and showed a comparison in her video, so I'll try to remember to link that down below if I can remember. So this shade is super pretty. Definitely use your finger for best application, I feel like, or sprayed brush. I didn't get, there's some fallout. I don't feel like it's anything crazy. Fallout doesn't really bother me, but I am going to take this brush just to blend it out a little bit. So that's that half. And I think for the inner part, I'm gonna use, wait, I kind of like that one. I think I'm gonna use Thrill. So Thrill is also a duochrome. It's a gold that has some pink reflex in it. And I'm gonna use this on, like, that scared me, the inner part of the eyelid. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Ooh. So I really like this shimmer. Oh. It has a little bit more silveriness to it than I was expecting. I don't know if those really blend together. Like if they really go together, you know what I'm saying? So, oops. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flat definer brush, and I think I'm going to take a little bit of Aspiration, which is like a deep brown, but it kind of has some like purpley undertones to it, and I'm going to put that on the lash line. I don't really want to take the black. I don't want to cover up that shimmer or like overwhelm it, you know? I'm not creating a wing. I pretty much do this every time I do my makeup, I feel like, just because it really helps to enhance your lashes while not having to be too harsh with like an actual liner. So that was like a pretty easy look. I feel like with this eyeshadow palette you can go bold like this eye, or you can keep it pretty neutral. Like you can use like these 4 shades and have like an everyday look. So I definitely feel like it's pretty versatile palette. I forgot my mascara. I'm gonna mix these two today. I'm trying to use these two up before I open up a new mascara. So I'm gonna use the Item Beauty Lash Snack mascara and the Merit lengthening mascara. I'm just gonna mix these two, and I am gonna use the Item Beauty primer because I've really been liking it. So I'm going to do that, finish up this side, and then I'll come back and we can start on the face. Okay, so I ended up adding a little bit of that Vision shade over top of the Thrill one. I still left a little bit in the inner corner, but I kind of felt like it was getting a little lost, so I add a little bit more of that and add a black liner. You can use whatever black liner. I just felt, normally I use brown for my upper waterline, but I just felt like black would go better. I have glitter on my hands, so I got most of the glitter off my hands. So anyway, we're gonna go in with the Too Faced Hangover primer. This is an OG, but I still really love this just for adding a little bit more hydration to the skin. Like I said earlier, I did my skincare after I got out of the shower earlier, so we are already skincare prepped, primed. I just want to add a little bit more hydration. And then since I am oily, I always have to go with the mattifying primer, so I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Lock Mattifying Primer. This is one of my favorites from the drugstore. I just have a sample of it because I haven't ran out of it yet, and I just haven't picked one up. But this is like $10 at Ulta or something, and it's super good, especially if you have super oily skin. This will really help to control that oil, and I feel like it helps to blur the pores. Kind of like a lotiony feel to it. Or actually, one more thing we're going with, you don't have to do this. I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade Fair. Let me know if this is happening to anyone else's, but mine, the like letters are coming off, and I literally, like, every time I touch it, I'll look and I'll have like an H on my finger, or like the number 1 on my finger from where everything is coming off the bottle, which I feel like is so weird, because is it just like individual stickers for every single letter and number? So I'm gonna take a sponge and just blend that out. I keep this out of this portion of my face. I see everyone put this literally in their pores, on like all up in their T-zone. And actually, normally I like to do this and then go with my mattifying primer, just in case I do bring it in a little too far, which can happen sometimes. But I see everyone do that, and then they complain about how it's like highlighting their pores. Unless you have super dry skin and like no pores, do not put a Hollywood, the Charlotte Tilbury primer, the Tarte Glow Wand, the Say Glowy Gel. Don't put this here, because that is what's going to make you oily throughout the day, because it's doing its job. It's making the skin glow. So yeah, throughout the day it's gonna enhance pores, it's gonna make it super glowy, so just keep it out of the T-zone area, especially if you're oily. Now that we're all primed, we got our Charlotte Tilbury on, all that good stuff, we're gonna go in with a new foundation that I've used a couple times. This is the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation from Hourglass. I have mine in the shade Ambient 1. So I'm just gonna do one pump because I like a more medium coverage, and this is like a pretty thick foundation, which is kind of weird. I thought this was supposed to be kind of more like medium coverage, nothing super crazy. I prefer most of my foundations with a sponge. Sometimes I'll go in with the, where is it, the Makeup by Mario F1, and I'll just kind of start blending it out on the face, and then I'll go in with my sponge. So that's what we'll do today. Again, if you watched like my old tutorials, you know this, but I never put foundation in the, like, around my nose or in my pore area, because I actually watched an old Jackie Ina video. This was like a couple of years ago, and she was making one for like oily skin girls, and she always said to keep as light of layers as you can, especially around here, because you get so oily and cakey there. So she doesn't put foundation there, she only puts concealer, and it really does help to keep it from getting cakey and like super oily. So that is my best like one of the things I've done ever since I heard her say that, and I really do feel like it helps, is just keeping the foundation here and just putting concealer, and even then putting like light layers of concealer, because that is gonna kind of just cake up over time, especially layers of foundation and concealer and powder and primer, all of that good stuff. This is my favorite foundation brush. You can use this for literally anything. You can use this for cream bronzer, cream blush. You can use this for concealer, nose contour, literally anything on the face. I love it for foundation and concealer. And I'm gonna go back over with my sponge. Just kind of helps to melt everything into the skin and get off any excess product. And this is just a random sponge. It's by Luxie. I mean, it's fine. It does the job. I got it in a boxy charm. So today, that actually looks really nice. Yeah, that actually looks really nice. Here lately, I kind of do feel like if you put too much of this, it can kind of get a little heavy. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep testing it out. I'll do a Sephora haul update in probably like a couple weeks. But yeah, I am not obsessed with this foundation yet. I like it, but I don't think it's worth the price tag yet. So I'm gonna keep trying it out. I've been trying out the Lancome Care and Glow one too, so I'll keep you updated. It just hasn't been a favorite yet. So I'm gonna go in with the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Luminous Matte Concealer. This is in the shade 1.1 Royal Icing. I've been really liking this concealer. I feel like it's really easy to blend. I was a little bit concerned because I might have said this in my Sephora haul. But the foundation version of this is not a favorite for me. I keep it for full coverage days, but honestly, those days are very far between for me. I always just prefer medium coverage, and I feel like with that foundation, it's kind of hard to get a medium coverage or keep it from looking heavy. So I was worried that this was just going to be like a very heavy, thick, hard to blend concealer, just kind of very cakey, but it's actually not. It's more of like a medium to full coverage. It's super easy to blend. It's a nice, like, I feel like it sets down to a matte, but it's very, it's like a hydrating matte. I don't feel like it's super drying. Sometimes matte concealers can just look very cakey and dry underneath the eyes. I don't feel like that with this one. I feel like, again, I can still see my freckles on my nose. I feel like if you use a little bit of this, you can keep it at like a nice medium natural concealer, or I feel like you could really build this one up to be full glam if you wanted to, but it's super easy to blend. I mean, like, it literally blends out so easily. Yeah, and I've been really liking it. I feel like it's just very smoothing. And I like with foundation, I start with a little bit and work my way up if I feel like I need more. Sometimes what I like to do is go in with like a more, I didn't do it today because I just wanted to show you this concealer, but sometimes I like to go in with more of a skin tone concealer. So I use like the NARS Vanilla Radiant Creamy Concealer. I'll use my Laura Mercier in the shade 1N. It's just something that's more like my actual skin tone. It's not brighter, it's not a couple shades lighter, it's literally like my skin tone, and I feel like it really helps to correct the darkness. And then I'll go in with one, like, I'll literally use a dab, and then I'll go in with one that's a little bit more brightening and use it just so it can kind of help to cover up the darkness. I am gonna go with a little bit more just right here, but I feel like a lot of people would like this concealer. It's really good. I've been really enjoying it, and I feel like it wears really nicely too. I'm gonna go in with something brand new. So this is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick. So she came out with new shades of her matchsticks in the highlighting formula, the contour bronzer formula, and then she came out with color correctors. I didn't get the color correctors. I was gonna get the one in rose quartz, but I haven't been seeing the greatest reviews, and I was a little bit more excited about this. I'm sorry the lighting just changed, but the sun kind of just went behind a cloud. So I picked up the shade Soft Amber. She came out with Soft Amber. She came out with 4 of new ones of these, and so yeah, I'm really excited to try this out. I'm not gonna draw this straight onto my face just in case. I never picked these up when she first launched these because I always heard they were kind of dry. I got a highlighting one in my BoxyCharm like, when was that? Like a year or so ago. I didn't love it. I did kind of feel like the formula was a little bit dry. The color also wasn't great for me because it was like a deeper gold. So yeah, I just never loved it. It was just a little bit hard to work with. So I never picked up like the contour bronzer shades, but this shade just looks so pretty. And I seen that Julia Adams used this and she really liked it. So I wanted to try it, and she said that the new shades seem creamier than the old ones. I don't know if they reformulated all of them or if it's just they made these creamier with just the new 4 shades. So yeah, right now this is blending out really nicely. I'm using the Huda Beauty, oh wait, I think it's the Tantour brush. It's like her contouring brush, I can't remember. It's really nice for cream bronzer. I really like this. I feel like this is going on so nicely. I'm just taking some, kind of swirling it on my hand, and then I'll take my brush and just mix it in, swirl it in. I feel like that's how you get the most natural, effortlessly blended look. And in case sometimes you draw it on and some formulas are just not made for that. They're just not creamy enough, or they're just a little bit harder to blend that way. I don't feel like you get as blended of a look, but sometimes when I'm in a rush, that's what I'm doing. I'm drawing it straight onto the face and hoping that it blends out. So yeah, and I'm really liking the formula. It's not being hard to blend or anything. But I remembered while I was blending that out, I remembered I wanted to use the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer, and this is in the shade Fair. I think this shade is sold out again, but this is what it looks like. I completely forgot that I wanted to use it, so maybe we'll go over top with this one. I have used this one a couple times, and I really like this. Ooh, okay. I went in a little crazy. The color on this is so nice. If you have fair skin, this one is definitely deeper and a little bit more cool than that shade from Fenty Beauty. But this one is really easy to work with. You can use this over powder. It kind of has like a powder, like a cream to powder formula. It's not super dewy or anything. Ooh, okay. I'm going like a little bit closer. As you can see, I went a little bit crazy, so you can either take your sponge or your foundation brush and you're just going to go over any creams that you just put on. This is going to really blend it in, melt it with your foundation and concealer, and it's just going to kind of calm everything down a little. This is like the most full glam I've been in a minute, girl. I think I'm going to do a mixture of these two. I didn't know what the eye look was going to be, so, and I don't have any new, like I have new shades of cream blushes, but I don't have any new formulas. So I think I'm just going to mix the Tower 28 blushes in office hours and after hours, just to kind of come up with a good shade. I really like this brush from Huda Beauty in this shade, or the Face Cheek color brush. This came out, no, I don't really remember when, but I got this during a Sephora sale. I think during the April Sephora sale, and I really like it. It's kind of like a stippling brush, but it's got like an angle to it. And these Tower 28 blushes definitely have some pigment to them. I like to keep my blush kind of higher up. I'm doing pretty much the same thing I always do. I always dip into the product, blend it out onto the hand. I don't I take my blush in, but I try not to take it too far in. I know that's kind of like not the thing these days, but I don't know. I have more of a round face, so I just feel like it fits better. This foundation I consider is looking so nice. Now we're gonna set. I'm gonna mix, since I've seen this just came back in stock. Can't promise it'll be in stock by the time this video goes live. But I thought since I just seen it come back in stock, we would use the Cherry Blossom Cake Powder by Huda Beauty. And I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of the Huda Beauty Fit Me. This is a pretty pink powder, so I just kind of like to, sometimes I like to mix it with a more translucent powder just to tone it down a little. But I love both of these powders. Whoa. And like, unpopular opinion, but I like the way these Huda Beauty powders smell. I know they kind of smell like perfume, but I actually don't mind the smell of these. And again, I don't, like I always do, I'm taking my damp sponge, picking up the powder and blending it onto my hand, like melting it into the sponge. This is the best way for powder. I never get really cakey, but it actually does set. I don't use this Huda Beauty, like any pink powders, I only use on my T-zone. I don't use them all over the face because it will kind of give a pink tint to your entire face. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and then for the rest of the face, sometimes I set it, sometimes I don't. Normally my more natural days, I don't even bother anymore, but if we're going real full glam today, I'll actually set it. Okay, so for powder bronzer, I have two. I might use both, we'll see. Sometimes I like to use kind of a matte bronzer and then top it with more of a glowy one, like the Kosas, the Huda Beauty Glowish. So yeah, I'm gonna be using the House Labs bronzer in light level 1. I've been really liking this. This shade is a little bit more cooler toned. It's definitely deeper than the Fenty Beauty and the Sun bronzer, but I have been liking it. I feel like it has nice pigment to it, but it's still easy to work with. Yeah, and I do like the color of it. She has quite a few shades. I can't remember exactly how many. I think they run pretty deep, but again, I don't feel like they're too pigmented to where they're hard to blend. And I am gonna go over it, why not, with a little bit of the Hourglass Nude Bronze Light. So I don't feel like this one has like, this one definitely has some warmth to it. I don't think it's super pigmented. I feel like it adds a nice glowy on a natural day. I love this bronzer because again, it's not too pigmented and it's nice and has a nice like glow to it. So I feel like it looks nice and healthy. So on my more natural days, I love to use that one on its own. Since I'm going to use a cream highlight, I'm going to go ahead and set the face. So I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is my favorite. Ooh, that feels so nice. It's hot in here. I turn off my fan when I film, or it will kind of like mess up the lighting. But ooh. Okay. I have the Rare Beauty highlighters. I actually just purchased the shade Enlightened, and this is kind of like a pearly champagne shade. And then when I was buying the NATASHA DENONA and the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer, I seen that this shade came back in stock, and I just loved this one so much. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and buy this one. So I got the shade Enchant, which is like a pinky. Okay, so I'm gonna mix the Dior Rosy Glow blush and the Flower Beauty Sweet Pea blush, and I'm just gonna use my Jaclyn Cosmetics Morphe blush brush. I don't know. I'm just gonna put this on. Okay, so we are almost done. I sometimes do lower lash eyeshadow, sometimes I just don't. I don't know. Do I want to? maybe we'll do a little. So I'm just gonna, honestly, I'm kind of just gonna put things on, nothing crazy. I'm just gonna take this little flat definer brush and I'm gonna take probably Aspiration and Edgy, mix those two together, and I'm just gonna put those up against the lash line. Just keeping it on the outer part. And I'm gonna put it in the waterline. Just a little bit. Okay, again, nothing crazy. And I'm gonna take this pencil brush and I'm gonna take a little bit of the transition shade and just blend that out. I don't love a lot on my lower lash line. I feel like it tends to make the eyes look too heavy and kind of bring my eyes down. So I don't do a ton normally, but I feel like with this look, it'll look good since the eyes. Okay, so me and the camera were having some problems today, so it cut out when I was doing my lower lash line, so hopefully back to that. For the lips, I did Makeup by Mario Hue and Smoky Pink, and then I went in with the Rare Beauty lipstick in the shade Worthy. I've been really liking these, and I've been really liking the formula on these. And I just topped it with Fenty Beauty Sweet Mouth, and just for a little extra pizzazz, I went in with this lip gloss from Vintage by Jessica. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, so I'll link down below, but it's in the shade Pink Sequin. So yeah, I just did that off camera since my camera is going through some things right now. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly do speed reviews on these. Like fast. So the Summer Friday sunscreen, I have been loving this. It is really nice. Again, for underneath makeup, it's really great for underneath makeup. Doesn't peel, doesn't make me oily. I haven't had any skin reactions to it. It's been a really nice sunscreen that sinks in really nice. Again, for me personally, SPF 30 is just not enough for every single day, so I've been specifically using it underneath makeup and loving it. The Hourglass foundation, right now it looks great. Again, I feel like you can go overboard with this one, and it can kind of look a little heavy and cakey as the day goes on. So I'll see how it wears. Right now it's looking actually really nice. I'll see how it wears throughout the day, and I'll probably put in the description box. But again, I'll update you all on all of these things again in a Sephora haul update, probably coming pretty soon. Then the Huda Beauty Concealer, I've been really liking this. I think that if you didn't like the foundation, don't let it scare you away from the concealer. This is a very thin formula that is hydrating and really easy to blend, but dries down to kind of more of like a matte finish. So I have been really enjoying this. I think it wears really nicely. Again, don't let the foundation deter you from trying that one. The Fenty Beauty Amber Suede Soft Amber Matchstick. I really like this. I like the color. I like the formula. I don't know if they changed them, so I can't speak to that, but for the 4 new shades, I think that you would really enjoy them. This shade, if you have fair skin, is such a nice bronzer shade. You could even kind of use this to contour. It is a little bit warm for a contour, but I feel like it's so neutral that it just looks so nice on the skin. I honestly love this color even more than I thought I would, so definitely gonna keep using this. The Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun Glow Bronzer. I really have been liking this. Definitely more pigmented than the Fenty Beauty, and a little bit more of a deeper, cooler tone shade than the Fenty Beauty. But again, I feel like it has a nice kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It kind of has like a nice cream formula that dries down to like a powder formula. So you wouldn't have to set this if you don't want to. You could even use this over top of powder. I've seen a lot of people do that. So yeah, I've been really liking this, and it's a huge pan size, especially for the price it should be. I've also been really liking this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. I know this isn't new, but this is so expensive. It just kind of always broke my soul to buy it, but I've been really liking this. I don't feel like it has a ton of pigment. I think it just adds a nice little wash of color and a nice glow. So I think this would be great for bridal makeup. I think this would be great for natural everyday makeup, just to give you a little bit of color, but also add a little bit of like a healthy glow to the skin. Gosh, we have a lot of bronzers. The HOURGLASS bronzer, I've been really liking it. I don't know if it's blowing my socks off right now. I'm still have my holy grails, but I have been really enjoying it. I think for the price, it's very luxe. Like, the packaging is really luxe. The formula is really nice and easy to work with, and they have, from what I can remember, they have a lot of shades. So yeah, I'll keep you updated, but for now, I've been really liking it. These Rare Beauty cream highlighters, I have been loving these. I've seen people mix these in with blushes, which I'll definitely have to try. But yeah, you can use these over powder like I did. You can use these under powder. You can use them on their own. I think they're just super easy to work with. You get a ton of product. I mean, personally, it would take me forever to work through these liquid bronzers or liquid highlighters. So yeah, if you can get your hands on these, I know these come in and out of stock. I would definitely pick them up during the Sephora sale. And then last but not least, hopefully I'm not forgetting to mention anything. If I do, it will be my Sephora haul update. But the NATASHA DENONA Dream Palette. I think if you have been wanting to try out NATASHA DENONA and this color story really intrigues you, I say go for it. Her formula is amazing. I love her cream to matte formula. I love her regular matte formula. I love her shimmers, her duochrome. Actually, this might be my first duochrome, triochrome I've tried from her, but I really like it. Her formula is just some of the best. You are definitely going to get your money's worth from her formula. If you already know it and you love her formula, I know you're gonna love this palette. It's just a really nice one. I feel like if you have the retro or the glam and you're wondering if you should pick it up and you want to, I definitely say you should. I don't think that it is like the glam. I don't think it's like the retro. So that's just my personal opinion. This is my second time using it and I do really like it. The only thing I don't love is the packaging. I forgot to mention this earlier. I like the nude and like the black, but somebody said that it looks like they spilt their black liquid liner on the palette, and I can't unsee that now. So that is literally what it looks like to me. I don't know if it's supposed to be like artistic, you know? Okay, so that was everything I want to try out. Again, I will keep you updated on these. I will mention it probably a couple weeks from now and continue trying them out. I don't want to do a first impression then just never mention them again. I want to give you my full thorough impressions. So yeah, let me know if you've tried any of these products, what your thoughts on them are, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.